In another fun-packed episode of the Grumpy Gits, the boys talk fake outrage after Pink Floyd released the artwork for the 50th anniversary edition of The Dark Side of the Moon. The band have found themselves being labelled as woke. With criminal charges now being placed on Alec Baldwin, we take a look at the Rust tragedy and we ask the question everyone's asking: who's really responsible? Does the person holding the gun ultimately take that responsibility? All of this in our usual regular segments with the funniest See You Next Tuesday question ever. So strap in, turn on and relax for the Grumpy Gits show, and remember, don't be grumpy alone.
What is going on, internet, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Grumpy Gits, leading you through the cavalcade cacophony of disability without hitting a nail on the head with disability. I, as always, am your glorious host and trivia master, Adam Pearson, and I am not alone. Oh no, I, as always, am joined by three bastions among men, who I shall now introduce to you individually through the medium of speech. First, he's your friend, he's mine. His meds are wearing off, so this will be bloody interesting. Chris Lee Smith, how are you doing, good sir?
I'm alright, considering. I do have to apologise to Simon for last night's outburst that Duncan quite rightly pointed out. You're off your meds, you can tell. They've run out. Yeah, apart from that, I've been going to the gym. Have you ever worked out like your legs so much that they turn to jelly?
Yeah.
I genuinely hate the gym. I went once with a friend of mine who's like a professional bodybuilder. He was like, come along, it'll be fun. Spoiler alert, he lied. All it was a random guy in the corner, bench pressing, yelling, do you want to be a champion? He had two caps on and a t-shirt on that said, only God can judge me. You're wrong, I can, and you're a twat.
I was on the bike for about 45 minutes and I got off. I couldn't feel my legs. And then I had to walk out as well, past everybody, which was so embarrassing. And then I had to get in the car and try and drive home. So, yeah, I'm
You drove a motor vehicle when you couldn't properly feel your legs.
In fairness, Simon does that all the time.
Moving on from an assassin to an Oz-assassin. Dr. Casburn, how are you, my friend?
I am frustrated and just family and schools, and we've had the kids off almost all week because of ice again. What is it with this country that we get the hint of snow, the hint of ice, it shuts down? Scotland get this all the time. They don't shut down.
We're just not prepared for it, and the teachers just go on strike all the time. Short a day off.
That is his personal opinion. Can we make sure that that's...
And he's already got us in trouble, so I might as well introduce. How you doing, Simon?
I'm not going to lie, I am a little bit worried about this show because I know what's coming up.
Simon, what word is spelled incorrectly in the dictionary?
Why are we doing this again?
It's a segment, Simon. We warned you last week.
What word is spelled incorrectly
In the dictionary.
Wrong. Go on then, tell me, Adam, what word is spelled incorrectly in the dictionary?
Incorrectly.
Oh. So, I said wrong. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Oh, my
Incorrectly
good Lord.
has 4 syllables. Wrong has 1.
Let's get on with the show with our regular and revamped segment, See You Next Tuesday Together. Who would like to go first?
Can I go first? Name the grumpy git who you think is the most insecure about the size of their manhood. Let's start with... Oh, he's laughing, so let's start with Duncan.
Based purely on the boasting of the sexual prowess, I'd have to go Adam. Just on the amount of time.
Bro, it's on Pornhub. Like, I'm completely fine.
Special
What
effects.
does Pornhub have to do with the size of your manhood?
Because it's there, it's Googleable. There's a website that reviews actors' dicks in films. I got 4 out of 5.
Would you hop on to do the rating?
No.
I've got it on very good authority that was CGI.
Nope. Yeah, whatever's behind me, there's a reason they call me the Elephant Man, and it's not my face. Let's leave it there.
Okay, let's go to Adam next.
Duncan, because fuck you.
And finally, Simon.
Adam.
I am so annoyed. And I know that you're going to put, like, dogs sucking on my green screen or something for the whole show. I know that that's coming as well.
It wasn't, but now.
And after that, what I can only describe as mild hate crime. Who would like to go next and see you next Tuesday together?
Oh, I've got to do mine. Right, so everyone who has a disability knows disability sucks. Okay? It's not a pleasant experience in most cases.
Is that your Pornhub site?
Disability sucks.
Disability sucks, yes.
Oh, that's what we're going to get Adam to set up.
The last thing this podcast needs is another website or app named after a sex act.
So, out of the Grumpy Gits, here's a question you cannot ask. If you had to choose a disability to have, what would it be and why?
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Going dark.
It comes back to that sort of blind versus deaf thing, and I'm not saying anything's worth another, but for me, if I couldn't hear music, I'd be gone. So I'd have to choose the blindness in that particular scenario, so I'll go with that. Chris looks like he's constipated. What have I done?
And I'm assuming, because obviously Duncan's the only one that isn't disabled, but not our own disability.
No.
I think I would go for... I was about to say loss of my legs, but I like my legs even though they turn to jelly at the gym. I think I could lose an arm and have a prosthetic.
I'm sorry, but let Simon write his own material. I would probably lose a foot.
Is that off your penis? Is that down to this size thing again?
Great, now I'm going to get with a tiny dick. That's never going to lose now, is it?
I actually thought about this quite a lot, actually. I wouldn't wish anyone for my injury. I wouldn't wish anyone Adam's injury, Chris's mental health issues. I wouldn't wish it on anyone at all. But if anything happened to me and I lost a limb, because of the way prosthetics have gone over the years, and I know a lot of people with prosthetics who do live an independent life.
I want to be Robocop.
Who wouldn't?
But if I was Robocop, I'd have the same size dick as Adam then. So scrap that answer.
Like action.
It's got a mechanical penis.
Trademark written there instead.
It's like Action Man down there, isn't it? He doesn't need...
It's like Braille. It's like Braille.
I already hate this. I already hate this episode so much. You sound like my girlfriend and my bank manager when I try and pay off my credit card. Oh, is it in yet? I'm going to go now, and I'd written two. I'd written a slightly edgy one and a really nasty one. And because all three of you have been writing out of cotwombles, I'm doing the really nasty one. Due to a clerical error, the Grumpy Gits get given a wild card to enter one of our partners into Miss World. For budgetary reasons, we don't want to win. Who are we sending and why?
Oh, Christ!
Since you've asked the question, I'm just going to go for you, because I've never actually met your partner on that basis alone, and because you asked the question, it's yours.
I mean, that's a good save, isn't it? Let's face it, because we're gonna. I've never met Adam's partner. I mean, I've been with friends with Adam like for 5 years now, and never met his partner. So
yeah, there's a fucking reason for that. Because we'll go, who's got the smallest dick? I bet it's Adam. That's why you're not better. That brings us to the end. I genuinely feel like that was a return to form.
Excuse me.
Oh, what? Sorry, what's that, Big Dick Duncan?
My question answered yet.
Yeah, and you can suck my tiny dick. We're moving on.
We have it. There it is.
Can we get Duncan's question? Because he says it's really bad.
Go on, Duncan. All yours, my friend.
The Grumpy Zoo is opening up. Each of us will have our own enclosure. What warnings are written on the side outside our enclosure?
I mean, even if you had to, you'd be all right with me, as we've established.
With Chris, it'll say warning: Jekyll and Hyde. Thoroughly agree.
Do not approach
no
after
argument.
8 p.m.
Absolutely no arguments from me for that.
Adam, no chance of sexual encounter. You're safe.
This is the that keeps on giving.
For Duncan, warning, person is from New Zealand. Just for the fun of it.
You went straight for the heart then.
I'm done.
Simon's welcome to the Blue Whale exhibit. Like I'm past caring at this point. Chris is not extinct. Dodo bird lives.
I'm struggling to see the relevance, but okay.
I'm calling Simon fat and Chris an idiot.
Which is both true.
Duncan's, I don't know, meet the wombat. Like I don't care. I'm so upset and offended right now. I can't think straight.
Funnily enough, that's my
So annoyed.
channel. Chris, what about you, my man?
I mean, I'm only interested in one, but he's taken such a beating. No pointing at the acorn dick for Adam.
Great.
Simon, do not feed. Duncan, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Sorry, I'm passing out for Duncan.
Oh, that was a real return to form, and I hated every minute of it. Every minute of it. I liked it when we were like, oh, Pizza Hut, McDonald's, or the other thing that I made up on the spot. Those were the good old days.
1 second, the dishwasher just finished, so it's beeping. So it's going to appear on here.
It's always something.
That leads me in to the next segment. So, as we have just established from that last clip, thank you for leaving it in, Isaac, Simon doesn't really know what goes on in his own house and thinks milk costs £5. £5, which leads us to a new segment, and I'd like to thank Kate for thinking of it, called How Much Does That Get Cost? Item number 1 from Tesco's is a 500-gram box of Kellogg's Frosties.
500 grams, so it's not one. It's half. Oh, I don't know.
Even if it was a kilo, what would that help?
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
I don't know. I'm just
kilo, then halve it.
Yeah, no, I've got no idea. I don't know. I'm going to go for £5.
I'm going to say 350.
I'm going £4.
500-gram box of Kellogg's Frosties from the Tesco's website. Every little helps. £3.30.
Is that included the Tesco Club card that gives it a bit of a discount or not?
Simon doesn't have a Tesco Club card.
We shop at Marks and Spencer's. Sorry.
I thought to make it fair, I'll pick things that you'll probably buy elsewhere just to give you like a good baseline. It leads me on to my next item. How much on the Tesco website is a 4-pack of WKD Blue?
Oh God, I haven't had WKD Blue in 20 odd years.
I wouldn't know the answer to this.
I mean, that's got to be what, a tenner?
I reckon £6.
10, 15 quid. I don't know.
A 4-pack of WKD Blue on the Tesco website is a £5. Item number 3. How much for 20 frozen Bird's Eye omega-3 rich fish fingers?
Only fish fingers. I mean, that's proper cod, isn't it? So I know they put proper cod in the fish fingers, so that's got to be quite pricey. So I don't know, $7.50.
£2.20.
That's about a £5, I reckon.
The correct answer is £4.20. Here we go. Item number 4. How much for a Tesco Sinus Victoria sponge cake?
Come on, you can get one of those for £1, surely.
Tesco Finest is the key
Tesco
here.
Finest.
Tesco Finest. Oh, Finest.
Not Tesco Basics.
Sorry, there's a Tesco Finest. So surely they put some effort into it. I don't know, 15 quid.
£4.
£8.
It's £3. Jesus Christ, Simon. Finally, how much are Tesco dishwashing rubber gloves medium?
Adam, don't you need a small?
Gloves, not condoms.
Gloves, come on. You can get those from the pound shop, so I'm going to say £1.
50p.
£2.
£1.20.
Oh, come on.
You sort of redeemed yourself a little bit on that last one. 15 quid for WKD. Mate, get out of grip. But yeah, well, it is the 50th anniversary of one of the greatest albums of all time. That is Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Am I wrong, Duncan Casburn? I am never wrong. And to
Never
celebrate,
wrong.
Pink Floyd changed their Facebook profile photo to a 5 and an O and like a triangle with a rainbow in it, because that was sort of the cover of the original album. Did Facebook understand that? Did it suck? Oh my word! How funny yet frustrating are social media idiots.
I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding as to the original album cover. I think the people commenting are all under the age of 25 and have never seen the actual Dark Side of the Moon album cover, which is a prism with a beam of light going in and a spectrum of light coming out. But everyone's taken it as being some kind of nod to LGBTQ+, which, if it is, what's the fucking problem? But it's all these like total idiots who are like, oh, they're endorsing LGBTQ+, I'm going to stop listening to them. It's one of the greatest albums ever made. Funnily enough, was released in March 1973, as was I. And
You were released. Where were you released from?
But yeah, it's a fundamental misunderstanding. But it frustrates me that you get these people who just will happily hop onto any bandwagon if they think it's going to make a splash for themselves somewhere and get some comments or likes. It's just ridiculous.
This has.
Chris Lee Smith, do you miss the good old days when rock stars could be just openly homophobic and not have to worry about changing their logo?
I share the same sentiments as Duncan. People are idiots, and I honestly believe if someone portrays that much hatred, that they're hiding something. Like they need to tell the world, like, I'm not gay. I'm as straight as an out. I think if someone's
I bet they're
projecting
all
that
Andrew
much,
Tate fans, aren't they? They're all Andrew Tate fans.
It's a lot. They've had certain thoughts, and they're angry at themselves. So to stem that anger, they have a go at a poster that doesn't mean that.
And the comedian Anthony Jeselnik, he's quite a dark comedian, and he tends to make jokes about tragedies quite soon after them. And he often gets accused of making fun of victims. And he says that he isn't. The people he's making fun of are the people that see something like a tragedy happen and run to the internet and go, oh, my thoughts and prayers are with this, or oh, I'm outraged at this, yada yada yada. Because in reality, you know what that's worth? Like nothing, like less than zero. And what they're really doing is just saying, hey, a lot of crazy things happening in the world right now. Don't forget about me today.
I'm gonna say, I would love to see Pink Floyd come back to this, because the last thing they are is woke. Let's face it. Come on,
Why would you say that? I'm curious that you say they're not woke. What do you base that on?
Because they're not.
But also, what do you mean by woke?
Well, people who are trying to find a fight, people who are trying to, who are misrepresented and don't understand the actual what's going on. They're not taking the time to educate themselves. I mean, you could look at J.K. Rowling, for example. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. I've got a family member who I spoke to who loved Harry Potter, yeah, and she doesn't do anything to do with Harry Potter now. When I asked her what did J.K. Rowling say, she's got no idea.
Pink Floyd, one of the most politically sensitive bands in history in many ways. They've just released a single which is raising money for Ukraine with a soldier returning from service who did a song, just put it on the internet, and they've created a song around it and released it, all raising money for Ukraine. Yeah. They are actually really sensitive to what's going on in the world. Back in the day, the reason they were considered so out there was because they did take the very leftist line, to be honest, compared to what was going on at the time. And that was part of their charm that a lot of people really appealed to.
I don't like the word woke. No. I think I'm bored of it now. I'm bored of all these sort of like have a go free speech heroes using it as a way to disengage with the conversation or silence opinions they don't agree with. And there's this whole, all these lefty loonies offended by everything. You're yelling at a poster, mate. Like, don't tell me I'm offended by everything. When you got people like Julia Hartley Brewer sticking up for Andrew Tate whilst belittling one of the world's greatest climate change activists, whether you agree with her or disagree with her. awful.
It's this
I
cancel
hate it.
culture that's really come about, and it's associated with this. That the second something is considered not quite right, everyone jumps in, and there are people being cancelled for no good reason.
Including Jeremy Clarkson.
Well,
I was going to ask, who were you talking about, Duncan, that's been cancelled?
well, I was actually going to mention Jeremy Clarkson. He doesn't help himself. I've been a
No.
Clarkson fan for a long while, but even I've got tired of him sticking his foot in it and saying stupid things. For a while it was funny, and I kind of took it as it was just him being funny and poking the bear a bit. But actually now he's just gone beyond that, and I'm a bit sick to death of it.
Yeah. Amazon hired him knowing what he was like as well. It's not as if he
Yeah.
left the BBC on a
Oh,
mutually agreed terms. Amazon knew they were hiring like a grumpy old bastard who assaulted a producer. Like that's the baseline of who you
Well-
hire. One of my friends doesn't really do Facebook, but I let him reply to some of the comments on my Facebook on my behalf. He just was just like, you fucking children do not know the original album. Go do some research and come back to me when you're ready to adult. Which is
Yeah.
pretty much what I'd have said on like my own terms. But
There's also that side of it that music kind of, it's a different beast from general everyday other media forms, in that it's an art form as well.
But
And
also all these people that are yelling at Pink Floyd, if this is like a political statement, A, who cares? B, if they're pro LGBTQ plus, if you're angry, does that mean you're anti LGBTQ plus? But also these same people that are going, oh, music and politics should be completely separate, are probably the same people that listen to Rage Against the Machine.
they're not political
Why?
at all.
Why
No,
are they,
they were never political. They didn't get banned from SNL for throwing American flags over the speaker and playing Hogs on Parade. Oh no, wait a minute. They did do that, and it did
Shut down the World Trade Center, did they? That wasn't something
No.
they did. Or was
No,
it?
no. They didn't swear live on Radio 4 when they got to Christmas #1 because we specifically asked them not to. Oh no, wait, they did that as well. They absolutely did that as well.
But why are these people on Facebook assuming that Pink Floyd's music is just for them?
That's a really valid point, Chris. That is so valid. It's nuts. Music, should be. If you're going to complain about an album cover, take the time to listen to the album first, because there's so much more to it.
I'm going to dig it out now. I haven't listened to it in 20 years. I'm going to have to dig it
It's
out.
from the best. It's easily one of the best albums of all time.
I'll tell you, I had the 20th anniversary edition. It was fantastic, and it got stolen when my house was burgled. But I was seeing they're releasing a 50th anniversary edition, and then I had a coronary when I saw the price.
How
This
much is it?
is probably what Simon would pay for a CD, but it's 250 quid.
Really?
Yes.
You could get 600 bottles of WKD Brew for it.
Or 5 loaves of bread. I don't know.
Never going to live this down, am I?
At least it's taken the focus off Adam's tiny dick.
Well, it had for a while. So we have the Alec Baldwin court case coming up. For those of you that don't know, there's a, I believe, involuntary manslaughter case, and he was producing a western. There was a gun involved. It was meant to be full of blanks. There was live ammo in there. No one checked, and people died and got injured. What do we think is going to happen? Or what do we think should happen? Dr. Cadburn.
I read a very interesting article on this online, which was actually from a lawyer who was saying it's going to be very, very hard to prosecute because of the fact that there's so many the unintentional factors in there, and he stated that he was relying on other members of staff to ensure that things were correct. There shouldn't have been live ammo on the set in the first place, which means it's not something you'd really generally be considering. But this gun was loaded with it.
He can't be found guilty. I mean, he's on a movie set with a prop gun, or supposed prop gun. Fire this into the camera. He's an actor. He fires. Somehow a live round made it into there. That was not his responsibility. He was there to act, not check the props that he's got.
That's
It's
where they're bringing in the
bewildering.
fact that he's a producer as well. So actually his responsibility went beyond simply being an actor, that as a producer, he has to bear responsibility for what was coming onto and off of the set.
Even before the gun got to him, it should have at least gone through a few more checks and balances. It should have gone through the props department, it should have gone through health and safety. At least 3 other departments should have inspected that props. I've done a scene in a movie with a gun, and about 8 other people looked at it, made sure it was empty, because it was a real gun we were using, before they handed it to me. And then I also looked and did the ninth check. Tara Banks, exec produces America's Next Top Model, and I don't think she knows what the job is. Same with Donald Trump and the American Apprentice.
It certainly brings on a whole new level to You're Fired, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, completely.
Yeah. I'm really torn. There's a part of me that says if you're handling a firearm, whether you're on set, like you so aptly said yourself, it went through 8 people, but you still checked yourself whether that weapon was loaded. And I wonder if that comes down to it. Do I think that's going to hold up in court? No, I don't think. I think it's a pointless prosecution that's taking place. I wonder if it's been promoted by Trump, to be honest.
I looked into the judge who's pushed for this. She's Democrat. So
Oh, really?
It's nothing to do with the
There-
Republicans. Yeah, I was surprised.
There is something as well. You have to remember how the legal system works as well. Is the legal system was set up to protect society, okay? And the whole idea of prosecuting someone is taking them out of society or putting them through rehabilitation, okay? So he's facing, I think it was 18 months in prison.
I think it's 6 months, but if he's found guilty there's a second,
Yeah.
which would be, as the producer, it could be up to 5 years.
But there was no intent. It was a complete accident. They have settled with the family as well. And so Alec Baldwin is not, well, aside from his comedy, is not a danger to society.
Doesn't matter. That's why manslaughter exists. Like, you didn't mean to kill someone and they died. That's
That is
manslaughter. And you
The
still
thing-
get the full extent of the law. They're not a danger to society because they didn't mean to kill that person.
It's not an
That's
act
why
of
it exists.
willful...
No,
it's
but
an
there's
act
no
of
point
negligence.
locking...
It's
but there's no-
punishment. It's punishment.
There's no point locking someone up for which should have been checked. It had no responsibility bearing to him. Otherwise, when you do World War II films or whatever, you're going to check every cannon. Obviously, they would check every cannon. They'll check every weapon and so on and so forth. No, but they
Exactly.
do. No, but
You've
also
made
they do.
your own
They do.
point.
No, that's my point. They do. And so it's a
do the
terrible
actors,
tragedy.
though?
Well,
Do the actors?
It's not the actor's responsibility to check it. It's the prop department.
go.
It's everyone else's.
That is, if the actors, say, for instance, the World War II, if they've got knowledge of firearms, if they've been given knowledge and training and told you need to check to make sure, then fine. And it goes off, it's on them as well. But if you've got no knowledge, how are you supposed to check if there's a live round in a gun?
That's Guns 101. Whenever you go to a gun range, the first thing they teach you is check the magazine. Always check the magazine.
We're talking about America, though. What about in the UK?
Oh yeah, and if Alec Baldwin were a Brit, I'd be a little more sympathetic that he didn't do it. But he's from the land of the Second Amendment. Virtue of being surrounded by guns in America, you should know to check.
Well,
Granted, it should have been checked before it got to him. But if I, as a Brit who's shot a gun, maybe 5 or 6 times, is already in the habit of checking before pulling the trigger, how much more should Alec Baldwin be doing it?
Adam, where did that knowledge start?
Oh, I went to a gun range in Texas.
No, I mean that you were first given a gun on set and you, instinctively checked it or were told to check it?
Instinctively checked it because I've been told to always check the magazine when I've been to gun ranges for pleasure in America.
Right, okay.
You bring up an interesting point, though, about it being the States. It's the same here. You've got 12 people on a jury. With a criminal case like this, where they're charging a criminal act, even though it's involuntary manslaughter, it still comes under a criminal act. All 12 members of the jury have to agree that he's guilty. The chances of that happening, especially, like you say, with the Second Amendment, all it takes is one NRA member on there. and
Yeah.
there's no way it will get.
I mean, for me, this is a pointless prosecution. It should never have happened. It's an unfortunate circumstance, but this is a country that has 10 times more guns than people. I mean, you look at the shooting today that happened in just outside Los Angeles. 10 people got shot today in Los Angeles. I do feel sorry for Alec Baldwin and his family because he shot and killed a person. And whether you like 30 Rock or not, or the films that he's done, you wouldn't wish that on anyone, and I do feel sorry for it.
So that actually leads on to what I'd like to think. I think is a good closing question: is should he have continued making the film? Because that's what's happened.
He would have been contractually obliged to carry it on. So, for example, when Oliver Stone died in Gladiator, he was one of the main characters. Russell Crowe and whoever directed it, I can't remember his
Fast
name.
and the Furious as well.
Yeah,
Paul Walker.
Yeah,
Paul
with
Walker.
Paul Walker.
They still carried it on. They were contractually obliged to finish the film.
I'm a big fan of the movie The Crow. Of course, that was Brandon Lee's last film because he died on set.
Yeah.
But his was due to a squib, which, if you don't know what that is, that's the blood pack that explodes in your chest to make it appear that you've been shot. Mm-hmm. Malfunctioned, and he died. And they continued that using facial, basically CGI over the face of Brandon Lee's character. Is it a bad taste thing to finish a film which purely then seems to be for financial and contractual reasons? I mean, geez, the new, what was it? Was it a Batman film they've just put to bed now? The Batgirl film, I think it was.
Batgirl. Yeah.
Batgirl.
Oh, no, it was finished.
Final edits, yeah.
Yeah. And they said it was so bad they're not going to do it.
No, they said it was actually very, very good. But they wanted to take DC Comics into a different direction.
No, I heard it was terrible.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
read that
they had
it just wasn't up to it.
They had they had a private screening for the audience, a test screening, and it was so poor they refused to release it.
Either way,
yeah,
they're willing to scrap an almost completed movie or a completed movie that has just gone into basically final edits. Why is it a problem for a studio to go, you know what, we're putting this to bed, it's not right to finish?
Because that's made by Warner Brothers, who have a bottomless pit of money, and this was done by a small independent company who don't.
I mean, for the film I've just done, I went and had proper 3D body scanning, so that if I died, they could finish the sucker.
Wow, okay.
I asked them if they could make my dick look bigger in the scan, and they said no.
So can I hold this cucumber here?
Natural. They said they couldn't see the cucumber because my penis was in the way.
Cucumber, not a pickle, right?
So, in conclusion, and we'll go yes, no, is Alec Baldwin going to jail? I'm going to go no.
No.
We all agree, and whilst, as we've all said, it's sad, it's a tragedy, it should never have happened, he's not going to do time. Don't know how I'm going to segue out of this. Oh, no, wait, I do. You know what else is back with a bang? The Disability Expo News. Take it away, guys.
Why not try something new at Disability Expo? Our Have a Go zone will be packed full of fun and inclusive activities for people of all abilities to enjoy. We are working in partnership with the charity FAB to bring this zone to life. FAB inspires and supports disabled and non-disabled children, young people and adults to make more of life together, breaking down community barriers, reducing social isolation and creating opportunities for all involved to enjoy the same activities and challenges side by side. The FAB ethos is a perfect fit for the Have a Go zone, which welcomes people of all abilities to join together in trying something new. There are 130 FAB clubs across England where people come together for all sorts of social events and activities, as well as FAB camps and one-off special events that take place. You can get a taste of what it's like to be part of the FAB family through the range of activities they will be organising as part of our fun-packed zone timetable. If sports are your bag, you will be spoilt for choice on activities to try. The team at Great British Wheelchair Rugby will be on hand to give you a taste of the sport that has been one of the biggest hits at the Paralympic Games over the last 10 years. Andy Craddock from Birmingham Wheelchair Basketball will also be offering taster sessions. Community means a lot to Andy, who was nominated for the Inspiration of the Year Award for Community Sports and Recreation Alliance in 2022. Boccia England will also be running a session. If you haven't heard of boccia, it is a target ball sport where the player throws a ball from a seated position, making it ideal for wheelchair users. with the intention of landing it as close as possible to a white marker ball. If you prefer something on the creative side, why not express yourself in a drama workshop with Adele Spindlove? Adele is a writer and mother to 2 sons, one of whom has a rare neurodevelopmental syndrome called ADNP. We have plenty more activities up our sleeve for the Have a Go Zone that we can't wait to share with you, so there is guaranteed to be something for everyone. Disability Expo is all about connecting with like-minded people through activities like these, as well as enriching your life by trying something new. Who knows, you may find a new passion. So register your free ticket for Disability Expo this July for a day that is not just informative, but also full of fun and discovery.
So there we go, Disability Expo working with the charity SAB to make anything and everything as inclusive as it can be for people of all abilities. The Apprentice, make some fucking notes. More about that later. How do we feel about it? What are we excited about? What else should we include? I know some disabled pro wrestlers. I might get them involved so I can body slam Simon through the canvas, who's got a small dick now, motherfucker. What are we looking forward to?
Well, I think with Disability Expo, it speaks volumes about their ethos. That This is a show that has disabled people at the forefront of their mind. This isn't a money making thing. This is a show for disabled people. And I think with each segment, the news that they give, it almost screams that. And that's the reason why we're proud to be working with them.
I think it speaks to that thing of inclusivity as well. I think Disability Expo get inclusivity. Chandy actually posted after what Adam mentioned there with The Apprentice and that whole inclusivity thing they did on The Apprentice last week that was just appalling. And I responded with actually the point is inclusivity is about not making a big deal about the fact that it's inclusive. What you do is just make it an activity that everyone can be involved in, and don't mention the fact they're disabled. Just that there happens to be a disabled person they're involved and included, and that's inclusivity. You know, that's all it takes. It's
incidental.
Yeah, exactly.
It's incidental. I often say if you have to tell me you're inclusive, you're probably not.
Bang on. Yeah.
I am quite looking forward to it because it feels like more like a festival rather than an expo. It's going to be a place where I think you're going to be comfortable just sitting down, having a cup of tea, talking to people, hanging out for most of the day, rather than you rushing to get around. You can explore things, you can interact with quite a lot of celebrities and famous people and gold medalists and all that kind of thing. I think it's more of a party feel than a business event.
That's the whole I Matter thing, isn't it? That's what they're about. It's I Matter, and that really fits into the ethos of what they're doing.
And that's what I've been really impressed with as we've worked with Disability Expo, because there's always sort of like an apprehension when you move from one sponsor to another. Or are we going out of a frying pan into a fire? Is there an element of better the devil you know? But I've been deeply impressed with Disability Expo. They're disability-led for disabled people, but also by disabled people. And as Simon said, it's going to be less of a business conference and more of sort of that communal feel where we'll get to catch up with old friends and make new ones, because I know often we go on a little bit of a bender and say, oh, if you met a disabled person, you met a disabled person. We don't all know each other. Spoiler alert, actually do. And we get to kind of catch up with everyone, won't it?
Being a disabled journalist, I mean, especially for me and Adam as well.
Are you a journalist?
Am I a journalist? I am a journalist. I am a journalist.
Really?
You never say that.
That's the first time I've ever heard it.
I know.
It's just news to me.
God
you do
damn it.
get to meet a lot of people.
Episode.
You get to meet a lot of people very quickly. It's like an influx of people with disabilities because you're a disabled journalist.
You're a journalist.
I'm a journalist. Yeah, qualified.
Can we just get this tattooed on his head? Just so he shuts up about it.
And brought to you this week with Grumpy Gits is ADHD medications.
I would have been pushed to my limits if I was on meds. I swear. He tests me. He tests me every time.
Over now to our good friend Jimbo and our good friends at DEFRA for the DEFRA update. Take it away, guys.
Hello, my name is James Anderson from DEFRA CIC. Disabled and Elderly Plumbing and Heating Emergency Response. 7 days a week we receive hundreds and hundreds of emails, messages, phone calls and requests for help from the elderly, the vulnerable, the disabled, the low-income and single-parent families from all over the United Kingdom, from every town and every city, from every corner of the United Kingdom. And every day we send food, gas, electric, plumbers, fitters to these properties to deal with the issues that they have. 99% of the time, the majority of the work is done totally free and we cover the cost. We are a registered CIC, similar to a charity. We haven't got big CEOs, we haven't got massive directors, we haven't got big massive pay bonuses or anything like that set in place because we don't believe in it. I don't believe in it personally. Every single day the job gets harder and bigger, and every single day we need more support. We are not going to beg for support from the government because we know we won't get it. We are not going to beg for support off the council or the local MP because we know they're not interested. But I do know that the public, you out there, while you're sitting there now in your home drinking your cup of tea, spending time with your family, playing with your children, getting ready to work or ready to go home, I know that if you've got a spare £1 or £2 or £5 and you look through our timeline and what we do, I know that if you can, you will support us by donating this. So we can get to the people in your community and your family and your areas and support them with food, gas and electric, boilers, plumbing and heating support, funeral support and general household support where they can't afford it themselves, or they're going to push themselves into poverty, anxiety or even suicide if they don't get help. We are the last resort and we won't say no, or we will try our hardest not to say no. We will try our very hardest to say yes to everybody. So please support DEFA. Go on our website, have a look on there, go on our Twitter. Please support us so we can support you for many, many years to come. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That brings us to the end of another show, and I'll be really honest, guys, I haven't enjoyed this one.
Is that because you got a little dick?
No! That's exactly my point. Oh my god. Stop saying... My mum watches this. For God's sake.
Your mum knows full well.
Oh, Christ.
At least he's got a good personality.
Oh, mate. Just because you have a massive cock, it doesn't mean you have to be one. Like, Jesus Christ. I don't use this term often, but I've been bullied from start to finish. Simon, if for some reason people want to find out what you think of me and my dick on the social medias, where can they find you?
You can find me on Snowball Community. Please download the app and start leaving reviews of accessible places and inaccessible places. It's available on Apple and Android, Facebook and Twitter.
And Duncan, if people want to know more about your opinions on the male genitalia and its uses, where can they find you?
PDA Dad UK on pretty much any social media platform.
And Chris, same question to you, not that I care.
Is at the real Grump Dad. I was going to make a joke. Is it the real Grump Dad on Twitter?
I think you made enough jokes for one episode.
I'm sorry.
I liked you when you weren't on the meds and were a bit dull. Just because I don't like it.
I like that person too, to be fair.
Jekyll and Hyde.
From me, Adam Pearson, and my massive dick. And from Simon Sampson, from Duncan Casman, and from Chris Lee Smith, we love you all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, don't be grumpy alone. Mwah.